Dearest gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the town. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighborhood-friendly Kiwi touch from Middle-earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her high vibe and loved era. Woo woo! Happy anniversary, Pollen fans!
Yes, very
Yay!
much that. It has been 1 year since Pollen season has dropped.
I'm so excited to talk about this. So excited. I'm so excited. Yeah, because this teaser was fire. First of all, I want to say, I don't know how the rest of season 4 is going to go.
I'm so in love with Year and Heart already. Like,
I'm going to say Jess Brownell, I think you learned, you took the feedback, and you worked with it. I give you props, because that scene, we don't see him walking toward Penelope like would have been from the book, but we don't need that now because Penelope's already married.
Yeah.
But we do that whole vision of him seeing her across the room, and everything kind of fades away, and it's just about her. And just, the book even says, like, he just can't believe how happy she looks. She looks genuinely happy. And the silver dress, the look on her face, she is enraptured by the beauty of their chandelier.
I kind of want, like, let's just say Colin and Anthony had some lordly duty that they had to pop out, because like this happened all the time in the books. Anthony was always like leaving the ballrooms and whatnot to go and gotta go do my lordly duty. I've got to do my paperwork. I've got to do my accounts. I've got to do my books. I've got to brood in a corner somewhere, you know.
Right. I gotta go brood. Hold on. Give me 20 minutes.
Yes. So I wonder whether Anthony, like Colin goes up to him at the ball and is like, hey, I need some help with the bookwork. Can you show me how to do this? And they go off to his study to go do that. And while he goes, Benedict, I really don't want Penelope just sitting on the dance, like on living her life but by the punch bowl anymore. Can you please go take your sister-in-law for a spin on the thing? So it's still the same. He's meant to be going and taking Penelope for a spin, but he gets distracted seeing Sophie, and then that way when they bump into each other on the corridor like it's supposed to happen, he's you mad. Were supposed to take my wife for a spin on the dance floor. You did her dirty. You have to make it up to me. So we still get that same dynamic, but it's just played out a little differently.
But I don't think I think the Penn they've created would not be mad though. But it's obvious when he walks in the room.
Penn wouldn't be mad, but Colin would be. Because Colin is indignant where his wife is concerned.
True. Or like what would play out is if he has to leave and he had to do it quickly with Anthony, and he says, Benedict, go find Penn and tell her where I am. And then Penn gets perturbed at him, you know, a husband-wife thing. And he's like, you got me in trouble with my wife. That would play, because he definitely came in like he was looking for someone. He's looking around and everybody's talking about him. And I do like, because in today's day and age, everybody talking about number 2 would not play the same as it does in Regency times. Yeah.
He's not the doo-doo.
And we kind of, got that vibe already with Colin trying to find his purpose. So I don't think that would play out to focus on him being one of the, I mean, they were saying Mr. Bridgerton, that's Mr. Bridgerton. It wasn't like they didn't know which Bridgerton he was. They were just like, that's Mr. Bridgerton or whatever. So my first impressions, because I've done a little bit of deep diving after. So my first impression, my very, very, very first impression is that Jess Brownell takes feedback and learns from it, because this scene, aside from him not seeing Penelope or Penelope being in the picture that I saw, is pretty close to how I imagined it in my brain when I read the book. Very close.
Felt like I was shutting my eyes and this is what I saw.
Yes,
and
very much
Garen Hart, I'm just so excited for her character, because I think that she is going to emulate Sophie so perfectly. Like, from watching her interviews of who she is as a person, I think she's going to be able to play this role off of those the dichotomy between like that softer side of her and actually the strong willful side that is standing up to Benedict. I think she's going to play both sides really, really well.
I love that when he sees her, he's immediately awestruck. So we get that lightning bolt moment, you know.
Yeah.
And when as he watches her look at the chandelier, and we know he has an artist eye, and I think what strikes him is her happiness, because as we've said before on the podcast, Benedict is in a depression. Like he
Yes.
is going down this road of extreme pleasure seeking because he is depressed and he wants to feel something, and he hasn't felt happiness in a long time. And he runs from anything serious. He tries to be the most unserious of ne'er-do-wells, living up to the number two name, you know. And I think that when he sees her and he sees happiness is just glowing out of her like a light, and he is struck by it and he is drawn to it and he's mesmerized by it. And then when he looks up and he sees that she is enraptured over that chandelier, and it's like he sees that chandelier for the first time, even though it's been in his house his whole life.
The ability to find beauty in the simplest things in life, I think I think it's a really beautiful thing. And to see other people, it kind of reminds you just like, to just stop and smell the flowers, stop and smell the roses, like stop taking everything for granted in life. There is so much beauty around you if you only remember to stop and look for it. But I think, like with Benedict, when you're in the depression, nothing kind of exists outside of that bubble. And to see someone else
Yeah.
have that light upon them quite literally in the scene, because obviously last season was all about shade and light and about how, you know, Penelope was kind of the sunshine for Colin, and this is kind of like another physical manifestation of bringing light into someone's world, quite in the literal sense, because she's
Well,
looking at a
yeah.
chandelier.
And in the book, he talks about feeling a crackle, like he felt a crackle in the room before he saw her. And I think
Yes.
we get that because she is bathed in that chandelier light. And
Yes.
even though he hears people saying his
Oh,
name,
here it is. Okay, I found it.
it very much sounds background, you know, like he's kind of walking through feeling the crackle more than hearing the background noise.
So this is the book snippet that comes from it. Thank you to Jane Garcia, who posted this in the Bridgerton page. You are our star. She's the one of the book experts in the main Bridgerton page. Um, and it's highlighted this part. Her beauty came from within. She shimmered, she glowed, she was utterly radiant, and Benedict suddenly realized that it was because she looked so damned happy. Happy to be where she was, happy to be who she was, happy in a way that Benedict could hardly remember.
Exactly.
That scene was chef's kiss, flowers, flowers, applause, pucky pucky,
Yes.
all of it.
Yes.
Like it was perfection, because that was what radiated from that scene. This is what happiness looks like. Simple, unbridled, like non-conditional happiness. Just happy to enjoy the little things in life.
I've already given my first impressions. What are your first impressions of the teaser?
Mine are Australian. I love that no matter what kind of lighting, angles, makeup they've used to try and hide it, I can still see the faintest hint of Yeren Ha's bikini tan lines into her skin. And I know it's going to annoy so many people, but as an Australian, I'm like, I feel the representation.
They have managed representation for everyone.
This
That's
is
hilarious.
true Australian representation. All we need is for her to lift her dress and it be a pair of thongs on her feet, and we're there.
Well, it probably is, because that's way more comfortable.
My other first impressions is Yeren Ha just has something special about her, I feel, as Sophie. She is like not just beautiful, but she does have that very childlike wonder and joy. I've seen videos and photos of her traveling Japan and South Korea, and she just enjoys her life, you know, and she stops and she takes photos of the weird and wonderful, and I feel like she really emulates that in her character Sophie as well, and how she made the scene seem so authentic because it feels like something that she herself would do as well. Stop and
Yeah.
admire such a beautiful piece. Like it is an absolutely breathtaking piece. And I think in the ton, everyone, like if you compare her to the likes of Lady Featherington, who goes into Portia's estate and says, puts down constantly, and then to her face, it's like, oh, what a wonderful job you've done with decorating, you know,
Yeah.
to have someone who's clearly enraptured with the beauty of an object instead of just saying niceties to try and suck up to someone, I think is quite rare amongst the ton, and to see real emotions from someone is what has attracted Benedict to her.
Yeah, and I think what is going to grip me, because I'm always attracted to this character in any form of media, literature, you name it. And I'm going to throw out some very familiar names that I have said in the past, like Anne of Green Gables and Annie, you know, Little Orphan Annie.
Hmm.
There are just people that no matter what they live through, and I mean, honestly, Penelope Featherington, how she has been written, I mean, she's a little bit more gritty and morally gray, but she, no matter what she's been through, no matter the hardships, no matter, you cannot steal their joy, you cannot steal their light, you cannot steal their wonder, you cannot steal the unique way they look at the world. And I'm always attracted to these characters, and she,
ADHD.
yeah, she just embodied that. Like everybody who's anybody is there. I mean, the place is crowded, and she is just oblivious to everything going on around her, and she is just enraptured by the way the light is playing off the crystals, like the massive size of it. Like you can
Oh,
just tell, like
I'm sure she's impressed by the massive size of it.
she hasn't seen the massive size of that yet. But like she's just, you can just tell, like she literally is just happy to be there,
Hmm.
just happy to be in the moment,
Well,
and
and I
he
see.
absorbs that. It's like he, like where Colin has to hold Penelope's hand to feel her energy,
Hmm.
Benedict feels Sophie's energy from across the room, like
It's
it just
radiating.
is radiating out of her.
And that's what I say all the time. Joy spreads joy. When you
Mhm.
enjoy something so much that it radiates off of you, other people feel that joy. It's infectious. It's the best kind
Yes.
of infectious 2020 can bring towards us.
Well, and I think too, like I like how because they switched the seasons, and because I said like
It's autumn
the
now.
the pollen season is the healing
Spring.
season. Like Penelope and Colin got together, and they felt, they admitted their love for each other, and their love grew because love is not finite. I think it's important that that sentence was said in their season, and their love grew and it spilled over because there's so much of it, and it just healed so much around them. It healed so many relationships. And I think,
Hmm. It was a new
it's,
blossom. Oops.
and joy also attracts joy. So I
Well, you know
think
what?
that
I
Sophie
feel
was
like
attracted to the Bridgerton family because of the joy that is now there.
the warmth.
Because, yeah, because Antony's with Kate, and we don't see Daphne, but Daphne and Simon are together. Like the more the more joy, the more love you have in your life, the more joyous you are, the more you attract that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it just feels like she was, if even just reading the book, like don't even have the show, we don't know if they're gonna follow it to the T. I mean, they filmed
You know
this
what?
perfectly.
I really feel like it's going to be so much closer to the book than any previous season.
Well, they've already said that, and I think that's because I believe in growth,
Because
and
we
I
threw
believe
so
that
many notes at them.
I believe people,
Instead of no notes, it was all notes.
all the notes.
All
Yes.
notes.
All the notes. And please keep listening. And just keep giving the fans, you know, honestly,
It's not about
you can't
it's not
give
about doing
every
fan
fan
service.
everything they want, right? You can't give every fan everything they want, but this is something we desperately asked for after the season of Pollen, where it didn't. I mean, yes, I've said it before. I said it on my TikTok. We got moments. I love that Netflix named it moments.
Doesn't
We
even
didn't
have
get
it.
whole scenes. We got moments. If you go back and look at all of the press tour stuff, they never truly say scenes that often. I mean, they'll say scenes when they're talking about filming, like when we knew we were doing one of those scenes that day, because that's the
Mhm.
jargon of the job. But when they
Yeah.
talked about it in interviews, and it was about, we got these moments from the book, and that they weren't
Mhm.
lying, they were telling the truth. It's only moments. Their book was the sweet scenes, the sweet moments were pieced out and put into almost an entirely new story.
Mhm.
And we were like, boo. Like, it's a great
You know what I
season.
think?
Yes, it gripped us. Yes, because these characters, we love them. Yes.
If they gave a certain moment to Sophie and Benedict, I think I'd throw my book at the TV. And that is if they gave Penelope dancing in Grosvenor Square and Colin coming upon her and seeing her dancing in joy
Mhm.
and happiness. If they gave
if
that to
they
Sophie, I would rage.
if they give, I'm more concerned about, because we know that Colin and Penelope's mirror scene, first time scene,
Yes.
is
Yeah.
really what happened in their book for their first time scene. So I'm going to rage, ADHD rage all day, if they get the stay, the grab of the hand and
Yeah.
stay, like,
Yeah.
don't go. I
Which is funny
will.
because it actually kind of fits their story a little bit better with how
It does.
tumultuous it is. And especially with that scene where Yaren, book spoilers ahead, the scene where Yaren obviously has just had that whole Araminta, um, like scare and she's overwhelmed and she's like when she says to like if she says to Benedict stay, like she just needs like against her better judgment she just needs his warmth. She knows it's the wrong thing, but in that moment she can't fathom anything but him, so it kind of
Mhm.
does fit, but I think
Oh
it would
no, I
upset a
can
lot of people.
I can absolutely write the script of it right now how they can fit it in, and I don't want to, because it does fit. Like, they're having this whole conversation. They've had this conversation before about her becoming a
Stop it.
mistress, her becoming a mistress, and she doesn't want to be his mistress, and she stays because she thinks when he says stay, he means I've changed my mind, and then finds out after the fact that he didn't. Cue Shondaland drama. See what I'm saying? But don't
I
do it, because I will be so mad.
like
That's Colin
but
and Penn's moment.
we're giving you the vision, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't
Don't
press the
listen.
red button.
Don't take the notes. I'm actually really surprised how many scenes
Tell you, like,
and
have you read A Midsummer Night's Dream?
no, not yet.
Okay, so I've read it before. I haven't read it in a long time, and it's actually one of my favorite plays.
Are we going to talk about bottoms now?
We're going to talk about Bottom for sure. Um, but I wanted to go through, and I went through and I like tried to pause everywhere, and I found some things because I was looking for elements and trying to see if I saw other people, first of all, which I didn't really recognize anyone.
I couldn't see anyone except for people that we'd seen in the longer version of the promo, which is like the lady with the kind of very
Yes.
Araminta hair, but it's not Araminta.
But not seeing who's back. Like, are we gonna
Yes.
get the Debs from season 3? Like, none. I didn't see any of that.
I did actually think that
I think I saw
um
Livingston, maybe,
yes.
but back in the background, so it's really hard to tell. And I mean, everybody's wearing masks,
And because I
but
was trying to figure out who the voice was that calls out to Benedict, 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 when he goes and then sees Sophie for the first time.
well, they're all
Oh,
like,
not
Mr.
Benedict, Mr.
Bridgerton, Mr.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton,
Yeah.
Mr.
I was trying to
Bridgerton.
figure out who those girls were, or if they were new debutantes, or if they were old spinsters.
So some things I noticed, like, we definitely have Midsummer Night's Dream theming characters. We actually have a man in a dress walking behind Benedict. I think it's important that they're behind Benedict. when he sees Sophie. Like the moment he sees Sophie, there is a man who crosses a screen. Impressions I got from other people, I said, what does this look like to you? And they said it looks like kind of like a Greek god, like they were dressed as a Greek god, except the dress is purple. But to me, it very much is a dress. It's very much styled a lot like the dresses of season 3, but without the modesty. Like it's
Hopefully you
just,
can put in an image of it.
yeah, it's just
Wow.
the
Yeah.
bustier. Like it looks like a bustier because it just comes up to the pectorals and down, but he's wearing the gauzy like shawl that we saw very prevalently um in season 3. You know, Penelope had the shawls over her shoulders, Eloise had the shawl, not shoulders, over your elbows, right? And he's got that very same thing, and it's purple. And so I was like, oh, interesting, you know, with everything that's going on with Benedict in season 3, like we actually have a man at the masquerade, and you cannot deny it's a man. The arms say it all. There, those are some biceps, right? Looks like
Yes.
he's walking through different pockets of like his past in
Yes.
a way. He's starting to get into the more interesting characters of the masquerade, like the bunny ears, the ram's horn, the man in the dress and whatnot. And then he sees Sophie. So I kind of feel like that's almost like a walk through his past. And, you know, if we are going to see a monogamous Benedict, it's like he's leaving that more interesting, colorful experience, like that is now like it's going to be behind him. Like he had to live through it, that's part of his journey, but Sophie is the end game. Sophie's the end goal, she's the mission.
Oh,
He's
I'm actually very curious now because there are three women specifically, and there is one next to them, but she looks maybe more the one who's in the red dress with a gold mask on, and she's got a red like thing coming out, but she looks more like a mum. Whereas there are
mm-hmm.
three young girls kind of grouped together. One almost looks like she's got like almost like horns, but they almost look like feathers, but they are horns. And
The
then the one
ram's
next to her,
horns that look that they're
yeah,
curled. Yeah, they're ram's horns. It's
yeah.
like, I think it's just like a, you know, and it might pay homage to Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream when they're practicing because definitely there's a man in a dress in A Midsummer Night's Dream, because there is a play within a play, and these workers, they're, you know, a weaver, your tradesmen of the town, shall we say, are thespians, and they're going to put on this play for the Duke who's getting married in A Midsummer Night's
And
Dream. And the
there's
play is
also
about
another
two
one.
lovers. It's a play about two lovers that meet at a wall, and they speak through the wall in, you know, at night with in the moonlight. And Bottom is playing the male lead, but he's also very like narcissistic, not in a bad
Okay,
way, but just like, I want to have all the attention in the room. So he
it
thinks
is a
he can
Grecian
play every,
toga.
yeah, he thinks he can play every role. But why is it purple then?
Well, he's wearing the filigree kind of gold leaf
In his
crown as
hair.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd still think it's, I think it gives homage to Man in a Dress, like in Midsummer Night's Dream, where Thisbe is supposed to play the female lead.
A purple toga was worn by the person occupying the powerful office of censor, like a senator.
Hmm, interesting.
It was a symbol of high status and power, particularly associated with Victoria's generals and emperors.
But how does that play into the theme of A Midsummer Night's Dream? Man in a Dress does more. But I mean, Penelope's dressed up as a pirate, and I can't think of there being a pirate in A Midsummer Night's Dream either. But A Midsummer Night's Dream, I'm kind of hoping it themes all the way through the season, and not just for the masquerade ball, because there's so many great themes in it. You're either going to choose to marry this man, or you're going to choose death, or you're going to choose a nunnery. So I think that's a theme that would totally fit for the whole season. I just, you know, I haven't imagined that out yet, but it's very, very Shondaland coded.
I was just looking at the photos, and right as the man in the purple dress, who toga, I would presume
Polka dress.
it's
I mean,
toga.
with the shawl, with the shawl is on both, but most of the time a toga only goes over one arm, and it really looks like it's
Yeah,
on both arms.
it was definitely a fantasy toga, as
Yeah. Oh, they've added the 5 and the 6 to the episode guide on
yes,
IMDb.
they have. I just noticed that. Pretty sure this is who it was. So he's listed as just Pretty Boy, but looking at that facial structure, I've just
that's the guy that walks up to her and asks for a dance.
That's the guy, Pretty Boy.
When we first looked at IMDb to see who was on there, and he was listed as just Pretty Boy, and we thought that was hilarious.
That's the chin. That's him. I feel like I've achieved something today. I've named I've put a face to the Pretty Boy now.
Pretty Boy, the guy that comes up. So that's something else I want to point out too. When Benedict turns around and sees her for the first time and he's really watching her, Pretty Boy's in the background. Pretty Boy sees Benedict see her, and then you see him walk off. But then he pulls up beside her. Like, he sees the Bridgerton looking, and he's like, I ain't waiting for no Bridgerton. I will not even have a chance.
No.
He's like, I'm going to go make my move. And I want to point this out too, and you can help correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to think back through the seasons. Benedict goes to the parties, right? Benedict loves a good party. He goes, he plays the game, but he really does try to avoid the marriage markness of it all, the tongueness of it all, the games of it all. And we really don't see him take to the dance floor all that much. He actually tries to avoid it. As much as Eloise tries to avoid society at all, Benedict tries to avoid anything that would make it look like he is courting.
Which is why Lady...
He didn't even want to dance with his own sister. That's all I'm saying. But
Lady Arnold was such a surprise.
Yes.
Because he was openly courting her.
Yeah, you know, and he openly danced with her. Like, yes, he danced.
I thought about something the other day. Yes, she is widowed. But would them no longer courting not be seen as like a marked on her name, because it would be presumed that Benedict lost interest?
It could be, except we never see them together as a couple in public, only at the engagement party. And then at the final ball, but the final ball was also a family function now that Penelope's in the family.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think it'll cause a stir that much. I think people will be surprised, like, oh, Benedict was going around with this older woman, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll hurt her reputation at all, because there was nothing spoken, nothing ended up in Whistledown at all.
No second dance, you say?
And everywhere he went with her, like, he only danced with her the one time ever. He never danced with her again after that. Same with Miss Stowell. Like, he danced with her the one time, and the dances were very different. But I think he wouldn't even dance with his sister. He did. He didn't want to. Anthony made him. But I think that's what's important about when Colin says, you know, brother, are you ready to dance? And he's like, yes. And he was so exuberant about it. It was like fake. Like, I think that plays into this whole scene of, he sees her, he's just awestruck by her, and he almost doesn't know what to do about it. But then he sees somebody go up and ask her to dance, and he's like for the first time, he's finally found someone that he wants to court, and he's already losing her, right? Like, already.
Benedict's a big vibes kind of a guy, and he got all the feels. I think Benedict is very led by his emotions, very on a whim. I mean, look how much he just dropped out of art school on a whim.
He's like, he really is an ADHDer with his projects. His projects get started, but they don't get finished.
Yeah.
And I think they need to stick with that. I think they need to stick with that. Like, I think we need to see a lot of partially finished paintings of the Lady in Silver, like, not finished. Like, they're all there. They're started, but they're not finished. And the fact that when he gets with her and they finally love each other, he can, I think when he gets with her, he can finally finish. And I think that's important.
Pun intended. Sorry.
Sure. And I'm trying to think, Kay noticed. Let me tell you what Kay noticed. In the same scene, like where the man in the dress or whatever he's in is in the background, there's a lady whose costume literally has a mask that has no eye holes.
That's creepy.
How is she getting around?
There was
Unless
also there's
if they're showing a different ability representation, she could
yeah.
have been a visually impaired person. And I, as someone who had a blind father, would be so stoked. Like, yes, bring it on. I hope to see it. I hope to see it. If it is what it is, I hope to see it represented well.
And I like to see how they fit them into society, because there was a way, and society just never made the accommodations for it back then. So I love that they kind. I do
And
love
I
that
wonder if
fantasy
the
aspect of it.
masquerade ball is the perfect accommodation because your mask can literally have no eye holes. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this costume ball. Where's my sleep mask?
No, no, Patty. She just had LASIK done, and she just has to protect her eyes from the sun.
LASIK. That's funny. But no, it's hot pink. There's no eye holes. You can't miss that
No.
there's no eye holes because it's hot, bloody pink.
There's also another guy right in front of him who's wearing. I'm pretty sure it's a guy at least.
The one who raises his hand.
Yeah, and he's wearing a white with blue, light blue embellishment and like frilly sleeves, like very, very, very feminine kind of coat, long coat as well. But it's also got a heap of detail in the design of it. And I was trying to like look at it, and the goat and the half sun, the three girls, I wonder whether they also represent something, because like obviously they love tying in Grecian Greek
Well, and I think I
myths
was
and what
looking
kind
for
of
the
thing.
Midsummer Night's Dream theming. Like that could
Well,
be, it could really be goat horns. And in A Midsummer Night's Dream, when the fairy dust gets sprinkled on the eyes of everybody they're meant to play a trick on.
I need to read this.
Buran is the king of the fairies, and he and his wife are having a fight. So he wants her to get the fairy dust so that she can fall in love with him again. Like he'll be the first person she sees. She'll fall in love again and they won't be fighting anymore. Only the first thing she sees when she opens her eyes is Bottom wearing basically a mask, like the head of an ass donkey. And she falls for him instead, so it doesn't go the way Oberon had planned it.
Such husband vibes too. Instead of like talking it out and
Instead
fixing
of
the
talking
problem,
it out, like
let's make it 10 times worse.
Yeah, put some powder on her eyes and she'll fall right. But Titania is the queen of the fairies. So and then I was looking at like fairy names and stuff like that. The theming and I'm gonna look at it some more because we have, peas blossom, cobweb, moth, and mustard seed are are fairies in the play. I'd like to know who Puck is, or Robin Goodfellow. Puck is called Robin Goodfellow.
Costuming for the scene must have taken them so long, because the costuming, I would say that just filming this scene would have taken them weeks. Yeah, you look at anyone in the background and they all look phenomenal.
There is one person in the background that their mask looks like they painted one of those, red light or blue light masks for skin care. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
It looks like they painted one of those masks like, oh, you want to be in this scene today? Okay. Oh, wait, we don't have a mask ready. Hold on. Let me spray paint this red light mask. Like that's kind of what it looks like to me, because it covers their whole face.
I know the one you're talking about. I saw it.
It covers their whole face. It has the eye holes and the mouth hole, and that's pretty much it. Like you almost don't even recognize that it's a mask because it just looks like a face, but without makeup. Yeah, we wanted to give you guys our first impressions and some of the things we've noticed. And I'm sure, like, we want to say thank you to Netflix and Shondaland for giving us the little teaser on the anniversary of our favorite couples season. Just saying. So it gave us a little morsel, a little bit of sustenance until we have a whole other year to wait, folks. So thank you for listening to the musings of two mad women,
Tosh the Kiwi
and Lady Patty.
It's gonna be a thing.
We gotta have special snacks. We gotta have some wine. This is our couple, guys. This is the ones, we love them.